The High Integrity Pressure Protection System, HIPS, fishing protection structure is used to protect the HIPS module from external objects such as trawler nets and debris. The FPS has 4 hatches, 3 side hatches and 1 top hatch. The FPS can be deployed with or without the HIPS module installed. For this animation, the HIPS module will be shown being installed pre-deployment. Before the HIPS module is installed into the FPS, all hatches must be removed. Lift rigging is attached to the sides of the top hatch using ROV hooks. The 4 lock mechanisms are set to the unlock position and the top hatch is removed from the structure. Lift rigging is attached to the top corners of the side hatch using ROV hooks. The 2 lock mechanisms are set to the unlock position and the side hatch is removed from the structure. This process is repeated twice more for the remaining hatches. With all the hatches removed, the final check before installation is the HIPS module locking pins. These are located at either end of where the HIPS module will be installed. A check is conducted to ensure these pins are in the unlock position to allow the HIPS module to be installed. The High Integrity Pressure Protection System module, or HIPS module, is a major safety component designed to prevent the overpressurization of the production fluid from the reservoir. The module shuts off the source of high pressure to prevent an uncontrolled release of production fluid. The installation rigging is attached to the HIPS module in each corner using ROV shackles. The module is then lifted and lowered into the FPS. Tugger lines should be used to orientate the module. The HIPS module is locked into position with a lockdown mechanism. The locking pin is held in position by a retainer pin. This operation is carried out on the surface, or if subsea, by a diver only. As the FPS is deployed with the HIPS module in position, the top hatch can also be installed on the surface, as it will not be necessary to remove this subsea. The FPS top hatch is lowered onto the top of the FPS. Prior to landing the hatch, a check must be carried out to ensure the hatch locks are in the open position and the pipeline side marking on the hatch is aligned with the pipeline side marking on the FPS when it is lowered into its final position. The hatch is then locked into position using the 4 locking pins. Once locked, the rigging can be disconnected and removed. Prior to installation of the FPS, it is required for the seabed at the installation site to be free of all foreign objects and level according to the surrounding seabed gradient. Rigging is attached to the FPS and tension is applied to help stabilize the structure as the sea fastening is removed. As the FPS is lowered, the ROV will take hold of one of the grab handles located on the main structure and aid the orientation during the descent. Once the FPS has landed, the ROV surveys the structure to ensure that the foundation skirt has achieved full penetration of the seabed. The ROV then moves to the bullseye located on the structure to check the final level. After this check, the ROV releases the main rigging and it is retrieved to the surface. The EFLs and HFL that control the Hipps module and also the flow lines that the produced fluid travels through can now be connected. HFL and EFL connection can be seen in the flying leads installation animation. The FPS side hatch is lowered subsea until it is approximately 3 meters from the top of the FPS. At this point, the ROV checks the hatch and ensures the locking mechanisms are in the unlocked position, and the marking plate matches that on the FPS. The ROV then takes hold of the grab handle or one of the shank hooks on the rigging and aids the positioning as it is lowered into its final position. Careful consideration to the presence of tie-in spools and flying leads exiting the FPS under the side door should be given, so as not to contact or otherwise damage these connections. Once the hatch has landed, the ROV will conduct a visual inspection of the hatch to ensure it is flush within the FPS framework. The ROV then locks the hatch into position using the 2 locking pins. Once locked, the ROV disconnects the rigging and it is retrieved to the surface. This installation process is repeated twice more for the remaining side hatches, leaving the Hipps module FPS fully installed subsea.